I didn't expect all of this by a long shot, or all of you. Thank you so much. Especially thanks to Carrie and Jim and to Buck and Marge for doing this and for all the work and effort of everything. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And thank you all for coming. And thank you for Sherry and John for coming so far. And I'm glad my grandchildren are here. So, I decided, oh yeah. Thank you, you knew I'd need that. I decided that what you really wanted from me tonight, since everyone has said everything that should be said, is that you probably would like to hear my PhD. It's only 497 pages, and I think we have time. I'm going to read it beginning now. Preface. The following dissertation is composed of excessive repetition and psychological jargon, malappropriately compiled in a non-quantitative and linear stance, taking on legions of traditional academia and referencing that which cannot evidence its theology, which defines previous attempts to demonstrate truth.
What?
What did she say?
Nothing.
Set aside chapter 1. Okay, you really don't want to hear all that. One thing they teach you in PhD school is to use big words so people think you're smart. So I tried to learn all of that. But what I really thought might be interesting for you is to talk briefly, and I promise it will be briefly, about how a little girl from St. Boniface School in the poor district of Quincy, Illinois, only because that was where our house was, how on earth and why did she, at this advanced age, for crying out loud, want to become a PhD? What exactly went into all of that? Well, here's my take on it. Okay, I was a late bloomer. I was a really late bloomer. A really, really late bloomer. Let me explain why I was such a late bloomer, and then maybe you'll understand why I wanted to get a PhD. There were some people in my life who were rather dubious that I would ever bloom. I didn't learn how to add or subtract or multiply or divide in grade school. In fact, I missed, most grateful, Sherry kindly said, I missed 4th grade. There were a lot of other grades I didn't go to, too. I enjoyed not going to school. It was really nice. And then I had to go to high school. And so first there was algebra, geometry, and advanced algebra, and I just guessed my way through that. So next on the list was physics. I took clothing, and I made a nice little brown dress. That was the end of my math, right there. Okay, until later on, Mr. Nina pointed out. I was a professional late bloomer. Nobody even expected me to bloom. Actually, I promised Sherry I wouldn't mention this, but there's one event in my life that I think was responsible for me not blooming at all. And when Sherry made her first communion, my parents gave her this really, really cool little bike, and it had her name written in gold letters on the front fender. I am 5 years old. I was an angel at her first communion. And I looked at that bike, and I didn't feel like an angel anymore. I thought, well, what do you think happened when I made my first communion? I inherited Sherry's bike. With the gold letters with her name on it. Yeah. Get over it. And then she inherited our older sister's bike. And so by the time I was old enough to inherit my older sister's bike, and none of us were riding the little gold letter bike anymore, by that time, Sherry and Connie were in high school. And they were doing all these wonderful things, like they were running student council, and Sherry turned gorgeous. Well, she always was cute, but when she got in high school, she was beautiful. And then Connie, above all, Sherry was blooming. It was clear she was blooming. And Connie actually dated a boy who rode a motorcycle and had sideburns.
Ooh.
No, really. She is blooming too.
Wow.
And there's me. I thought, there's no hope for me. I am not going to bloom. So then I went to college. Well, there are those who thought that the convent school that I went to was for it was not for late bloomers. Let me put it that way. Everybody there was an early bloomer, right, Mary? They were all exceptionally good at math. And when I grew up, smart equaled good at math, dumb equaled bad at math, and that was the end of that. So, no wonder I didn't think I'd bloom. I get to college and it's more the same. They're all really, really smart girls. And so, the exceptional girls there, the ones who did math really well, did big girl things. Well, like one of them actually risked expulsion by sunbathing in questionable attire atop Holy Cross Hall. How she got up on the roof, I don't know. But the funny part of the story is she was caught. And I heard it rumored that she was caught by President Madaliva, Sister Madaliva.
Oh my God.
Is that true?
It's a Laughlin auditorium.
Oh, Laughlin, that's even higher than Holy Cross, I think. So those people were blooming. They're blooming all over the place. I'm still not blooming. I didn't. And then as for the aforementioned candy machine thing, it wasn't my idea. I just went along for the ride. I wasn't blooming in that at all. So my predictable path was pretty typical. After that, Sherry went on to teach school and teach the world. Mary went on to join the Peace Corps. I know since then Jonina went on to the Peace Corps. They're doing wonderful blooming things. I didn't do anything blooming. I came home and I went out and applied for a job. So I went to the first place to apply for the job and I didn't get it, and I went home and said to my father, I just applied for this job, and guess what he said? He said, you're overeducated. I was overeducated then. I must be downright dangerous now. But anyway, I went home and I told him. And he just looked down and he just shook his head. He had just overeducated 3 daughters. Well, no blooming there. So anyway, then, of course, there was a lot to say about my father. I'll never get over having my father at the helm of my life. Our parents were just absolutely incredible. And I remember quite well the evening that I quoted Macbeth. The impertinence of a little girl doing that. But he thought it was funny. Luckily, he could see above and beyond. So what happens when bloomers get old? This is what I'm getting around to. I mean, when late bloomers get old. I'm still a late bloomer. I'm getting old. And so what happens is, it's now or never, okay? So in the fall of 2006, I decided to join the PhD program. And I took some courses then. I almost quit twice. Jonina, as she alluded to before, dragged me out of DOS. Now, who here knows what DOS is?
You do.
DOS,
yeah.
Brent, you know what DOS is.
Yeah. Disk operating
The old
system.
You
NACO.
know DOS in the computer?
Yes.
Yeah, you know what it is.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I was trying to solve statistics through DOS. It's ridiculous. And she finally told me to dumb it down a little bit, and then things went a little bit better. But anyway, somehow I survived. Now, it would be arrogant at this point to say that I have bloomed. I most definitely have not bloomed. I'm still working on how to bloom. So I think maybe what the PhD does is let you know that maybe there's a little window of opportunity that you can still bloom. It didn't bloom me, though. I mean, I still really want a license plate that says blonde turned upside down. I think that would be very cute. But if I ever do bloom, it will be the result of something that happened a lifetime ago. When my parents told me that I was okay no matter what I did, and wished me with a whisper and a prayer to this ripe old age, and that I could do anything I wanted, but neither of them ever dared to dream it for me. Never thought that it would happen. So what I should say now is a couple of words about my dissertation, and then I'm going to read you a poem, and then I'll probably shut up and be done. Okay, here's the dissertation.